Thank you for the warm introduction, and I'm here to present to you a true Hollywood star here from the City of Angels, the city of Los Angeles. Our Sixth Street Viaduct, this here is a photo of the old viaduct here being featured in the Grease musical. And this is, even before construction finished, we already had some of the productions using the Sixth Street Viaduct, and probably, whether you realized it or not, you've seen it in both forms, in films and movie, with Los Angeles being the national, center of film. So the old viaduct, very historic structure, very beloved in the city of Los Angeles, constructed in 1932, over 3,500 feet in length. But yes, quite narrow, 46 feet wide, 2 lanes of traffic in each direction, and very narrow, inaccessible kind of sidewalk, curb on each side of the railroad. We had a lot of obstacles on the project, including crossing over 17 railroad tracks owned by 5 different agencies that we had agreements and coordinated with, and the LA River, which is shown here, as well as the 101 freeway. This original project was designed by city engineers Merrill Butler and his team. So why did it need to be replaced? Well, during the construction of the viaduct, alkali silica was inadvertently introduced into the concrete mix, and it kind of serves as a cancer of the concrete. It gets moisture, expands, and cracks the structure from the inside out. So you can see here a picture of where that was occurring. And despite the desire of politicians and community to preserve the existing viaduct, we determined, based on the degradation, and you can see here in red on the original viaduct is where the reaction was the most severe, we determined a full replacement would be required. And just to speak a little bit about, the way this reaction did benefit us was in demolition. The bridge, crumbled, when it was demolished due to the degradation in the concrete. It was really dust control that was our major challenge in the demolition due to how the concrete pulverized. And here's the demolition over the 101 freeway. The new viaduct, after an international design contest, the city selected the team in 2012 of architect Michael Maltzin and our engineer of record, HNTB, that brought forward this innovative ribbon of light concept. This viaduct in Los Angeles connects the downtown through the Arts District over to the historic Boyle Heights, historically Latino neighborhood. And this vision for the architect was showing that beautiful connection. The design highlights of the new viaduct are just 3,060 feet in length. There were really no right angles anywhere in this construction. The contractor here can tell you how challenging that was. We have, as you can see, both a curvature in the alignment with a lot of radial, parabolic, and elliptical shapes. We have 10 pairs of arches that are canted at a 9-degree angle to the sky, and mostly 30 foot in length, with the exception of the arches over and framing the river here, and the arch over the freeway on the very east extremity of the project. The construction sequencing was very complex. We started over the freeway, over Caltrans right away, and moved to the west, very complex geometrical control model, and we had models maintained by both the construction engineer as well as the city, our designer, so that we could check and make sure all the construction sequencing was appropriate for construction. Some additional architectural design highlights of the bridge were barrier-mounted lighting, no overhead lighting on the viaduct, the lighting illuminating to the sidewalk and roadway from the barriers. And we have arch architectural lighting at both the ground and the deck level. Stairway access, as well as this beautiful feature, this 4-story helical ramp that you and your bike or skateboard would hopefully enjoy, bringing you to both sides of the viaduct and to the ground level about halfway through that long, over 3,000 feet. The project was delivered via the construction manager or general contractor delivery method. The owner of the city of Los Angeles, we brought in our contractor, and again, brought in a heavy-hitting international firm to really assist us with the biggest bridge project in the history of the city of Los Angeles. So it was a joint venture of Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck that led the construction along with designer HNTB. And by having them on board early, they were able to assist us with building demo, a test pile, utility relocation while we were still finishing the viaduct design, assisted us with that agency coordination. This was a cast-in-place structure from one end to the other, so a lot of false work, coordination, and construction activities impacting those in the construction corridor. And they were able to review the means and methods and even do a mock-up to aid in constructability of some of the most complex sections. Going through some of the construction photos, the viaduct foundations here were about 10 foot in diameter, CIDH piles, going to a depth of over 150 feet in some cases. The project utilized the first bridge in the world, next generation triple pendulum friction bearing, showing here being tested and to the right. And it was interesting, these were sort of locked and released throughout the construction sequence as part of the sequencing. The Y-bed installation, very complex, fitting a puzzle together here, which shows all the rebar coming together and the false work for the Y-bed. And then we have this beautiful structure that after we remove the false work. And we had, because of all the different layers, many tiers of false work, up to 3 tiers in some areas, as well as arch false work. The knuckles, the most congested area of the viaduct, where the main arch rib floor beams met the edge girder and the arch. In these areas, because of the significant amount of rebar, we did end up using self-consolidating concrete. The contractor introduced the mass cooling, the injection method for liquid nitrogen in order to handle the mass concrete elements on the project. The bridge was reinforced both longitudinally through the whole viaduct, connected with PT couplers to be continuous throughout the length of the viaduct, as well as transversally at all of the floor beams. And the deck was reinforced. I think the arches are the only piece of this viaduct that aren't post-tension. So in here you can see the deck reinforcement being installed. Pouring the deck, you can see the operation going on here with some pouring operation. The special fiber concrete mix was used for the deck of the project. And finally, the arches are the last beautiful piece of construction. Here's the false work showing, these are the cable hangers. And then here's the arch false work, and here's the arch after it was stripped. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you the star, the new Sixth Street Viaduct.